I was like super hyped for it all day long. I was really looking forward to it, and like I realized while this movie was going on, I would think I might have been even more hyped than everybody else in the crowd because I think the crowd was very unreactive. You know,
yeah.
I was noticing people were just silent, and nobody was really making noise or howling or doing the stuff you would expect with this movie. And I was wondering, do you think the culture of like Alamo's put out, where they're telling everybody to shut up in the movie, has scared people to death, and they're not just being less reactive in films?
I don't know. It's tough because I've been to Alamo a bunch, and I really love to respect the be quiet in the theater rule. I think it's a great rule, generally. But I think that experience feels like it has a little bit more to do with people coming back from the pandemic. People are still learning how to be themselves in public.
Oh, you're right. I think that's right.
Right? Like, that's the first time they've been in a group where they're allowed to do that thing. A lot of those people probably walk away feeling exactly the same as you, right? Like, oh God, I was so excited. Everyone was like, I was afraid to make a move.
It was just really quiet. Didn't you think it was too quiet in there, Jeff?
It was very quiet. Like luckily I had Smedley next to me on the right who was doing the, he had to laugh, and I was like, finally, somebody's kind of laughing, because you knew me. I was doing De Niro on Cape Fear, Mario. I thought you were going to like give me the elbow, because I was like, ha, 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 like hysterical.
You were popping at the right moments, and that was great. But I just felt like it was very reserved in there.
Yeah, it was,
and it was like,
reserved.
okay, it's not the midnight movie; it's the 9:30 movie.
Yeah,
You know, I'm sure folks had some beers in them. It's like, I was just, and even when, remember, one woman yelled out at the beginning when she yelled out, "Send more paramedics."
Oh yeah.
I feel like that didn't get over at all. Like the crowd was just not into it. Nobody jumped in.
It didn't get her heat, but you're right. It didn't get any kind of, it got no reaction. And then he kind of sold it for her, like, yeah, we're getting there. But then they're like, they just sat there. And we know that's death in pro wrestling, when they just don't react at all. And she said one of the biggest lines of the movie and got no reaction. But I think Mike is right. I think people are learning to figure out what they need to do in public. But Alamo was the leader of this with their branding, to the point where nationally they became, okay, no talking, no texting. If you have a problem with a loud table. But does that even really happen anymore? I don't think that happens anymore. I think they need to figure out, okay, what's the new problem with movies? Like, we need to get people back into the theaters. Maybe they need to have, hey, FYI, I've seen some theaters do this. This is a mom and babies movie where you can bring your baby in and it's okay if they cry, because it's going to be all moms in here, all dads in here with their babies if you're stay-at-home parenting. And do whatever the hell you want. And guess what? There might be a baby crying, and you kind of have to accept that.
I feel like that the way that Alamo positions its brand, every other movie theater is the baby movie.
Yeah. Oh, that's
right.
That's accurate.
So,
what's your like? You were here in Austin, and we have our go-to. What are the theater brands there that you're?
Out here, I go to Regal.
You go
mostly.
Regal?
Yeah, it's the closest. It's the one that I can get to. When I was in San Francisco, I saw that Pee-wee Netflix movie where he falls in love with Manganiello.
Oh,
yeah. I saw the world premiere of that at Alamo. And people come out, but at the same time, I can understand how a special event at Alamo can be a bit quieter. But I also just can't get out of my head people being afraid to be that guy. Nobody wants to ruin the one night you've been out in 2 years.
Yeah, you might be right. And I still, Mario, and I'm doing it tomorrow. I picked that first Thor showing. That's technically the first, what used to be the midnight show is now the 6 p.m. show, because I want the crowd to pop. I want those crowd pops. If they're passionate pops, you're not going to get upset. Now, if you're talking about something completely different or taking people out of the moment, yeah, maybe. But if you're just popping because of something great that just happened on screen, I think that adds to it. One of my favorite things about going to horror movies is seeing people, the jump scares when they work, or the freak out moments when they work. That to me is part of the experience. So that's never shied away. I've never shied away for that. And I think Alamo leads, now you can't go to a theater, and even if it's a Pizza Hut, you still realize, wow, I can get a pizza now in Cinemark, and they'll deliver it to your seat for $1. And that never would have happened.
That's a thing. I've never been to the Cinemark.
Yeah.
They bring the pizza to your seat.
Yeah, you actually order your food in advance, and you pay $1, and they come in here with a cart, and they're all wrapped up in these nice bags, and they bring it to your seat for you, so you don't even have to stand in line. So they also have the option for the grab and go food, but this doesn't happen without Alamo. Alamo Drafthouse has influenced movie going. Thanks to Quentin Tarantino talking about in Pulp Fiction, you can get a glass of beer at the movie. It changes everything. You get these flavored margaritas that you can get at Cinemark now, based on the movie. This is all because of Alamo. I think Alamo needs to lead the charge of okay, theater owners, how do we get people not only back in seats, but happy to be there?
I'm just saying, when Clu Gulager knocks Tarman's head off with the bat.
Oh man, that was beautiful.
I just expected more of a reaction.
Yeah.
You get a mild reaction, and I just think that maybe something has shifted in our culture that we're not going to get that loud anymore. I don't know. I just, I was telling you earlier, and Mike, did you ever go to the Dollar Theater? Did they have the Dollar Theater where you grew up?
Hell yeah, so scream there.
The Dollar Theater was the Dollar Theater was lively. There was commentary, you know what I mean? And folks would
there's more than commentary where I grew up, man.
That's what I'm saying, though. Folks would chime in. Folks had stuff to say. They'd cheer, they'd drop comments, whatever came up. I know that now the culture has shifted. It's okay, be silent in the theater. It's like a church, and it's my experience. Please, you're ruining my experience. There has to be a mid-ground where we can not threaten folks to throw them out of the theater if they react to the movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I've told you about this before, Jeff. Lucciolati is the most reactive movie theater person in the world. Literally, when the scary thing happens in the movie, she screams like she's being murdered.
I love that. That's great.
And it's a huge thing, but it's just I don't know. It's just, I feel like we should just dial it back a little bit, Alamo. Maybe put out a promo that says, hey, if you want to cheer for the movie, it's okay. If you want to cheer, still don't talk, but
yeah, maybe
feel free to be more reactive.